Superman and Hercules, two of the strongest heroes ever known, finally face off. One is an alien raised on Earth with the power of a sun. The other is a demigod born of Zeus, trained by the gods. This is the story of their clash, a battle not just of strength, but of purpose. The skies above Mount Olympus churned with divine unrest. A shadow had emerged in the mortal world, a being of immense power who carried the weight of entire worlds upon his shoulders. The gods watched from their celestial thrones as Superman soared above Metropolis, intervening in disasters, ending wars, and even challenging supernatural threats that once only the gods dared confront. Zeus, king of the Olympians, had grown increasingly concerned. "He interferes in matters beyond his realm," Zeus growled, thunder rumbling in his voice. "He has not paid homage to Olympus, yet he wields power like a god." Athena, ever the voice of wisdom, leaned forward. "But he does not seek worship, Father. His heart is noble." "That is not the point," Hera cut in. "His very existence threatens the balance between mortals and immortals." But it was Ares who proposed the ultimate test. "Then let us see if he's truly a god or merely a man in God's clothing. Send Hercules." A hush fell over the council. Even among gods, Hercules was a force of legend, having bested beasts, titans, and underworld lords in his 12 labors and beyond. Zeus finally nodded. "So be it. Let the champion of Olympus test this so-called man of steel." Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Metropolis, Clark Kent had just returned from halting a volcanic eruption in Indonesia. The world saw him as its guardian, faster than a speeding bullet, stronger than any army, a symbol of hope. But within, Clark often struggled with his dual identity. He was Cal of Krypton, but also Clark of Kansas, alien and man. Lois Lane had just begun to question him about the growing reports of mystical energy flaring in Greece, when Clark's super hearing picked up something strange. A series of seismic tremors, far too rhythmic to be natural. They emanated from the Mediterranean, pulsing with otherworldly power. He took to the skies, soaring toward the source. What he found left him speechless. On the island of Dos, a shimmering rift had formed, a portal between dimensions. Standing guard over it was a muscular, lion-maned figure clad in bronze and leather, wielding a massive club forged in divine fire. His aura was unmistakably Olympian. "Hercules, I've been waiting for you, Kryptonian," the demigod announced, voice echoing like a war drum. Superman landed cautiously. "Who are you?" "Hercules, son of Zeus. I come to test you, to see if you are worthy of the power you wield, and whether your heart can stand against a god." Superman furrowed his brow. "I don't want to fight." Hercules stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. "But Olympus demands one." As the sun dipped behind the mountains, the two titans stood face to face. There was no crowd, no cameras, just raw power and the weight of destiny. Hercules respected strength and valor, but he was bred for combat, and he had never known defeat willingly. Superman, though powerful, was raised on compassion and restraint. He fought when he had to, but never to prove a point. "I've seen your feats," Hercules said, circling him. "Lifting continents, outracing light, shattering monsters. Impressive. But power without allegiance to the gods is a threat." Superman's cape flapped behind him in the wind. "I answer to the people, not gods. I protect those who can't protect themselves." Hercules grunted. "Then prove it, in battle." "Must every conflict be settled with fists?" Superman asked. "To the gods, yes," Hercules replied with a smirk. Just then, a tremor shook the ground. The portal behind Hercules pulsed, and a dark shape momentarily stirred within, a hint of something more ancient, more dangerous than even the Olympians. Hercules glanced at it, then back to Superman. "The balance is shifting. Dark forces are stirring. Olympus believes you may one day tip the scales. They must know if you are ally or adversary." Superman's eyes narrowed. "If you want a battle, I'll give you one. But remember, you started this." Word spread fast across the mystical plains. Thor, watching from Asgard, smiled in interest. Wonder Woman, attuned to divine whispers, frowned in concern. Batman prepared contingencies, while the gods of Olympus gathered around their celestial amphitheater, to watch what they dubbed the trial of the Sunborn and the God Forged. Down below in the realm of mortals, storm clouds began to gather unnaturally fast. The skies darkened, lightning streaking across the heavens. The earth knew what was coming. Titans were about to clash, not for glory, not for conquest, but for ideology. Hercules cracked his neck, gripping his club. Superman's eyes glowed crimson. The line between man and God was about to be tested, and the world would never be the same. The heavens held their breath. The air between them sizzled with tension. Two paragons stood opposed. Hercules, the mightiest of the Olympians, forged through divine labor and immortal legacy. Superman, the last son of Krypton, protector of Earth, powered by the sun and a will forged in humanity. The silence broke with a single boom. Hercules lunged forward like a thunderbolt, his club crashing down with the force of a meteor. Superman moved in a blur, sidestepping the blow, but the shock wave cratered the island beneath him. Ocean waves recoiled as stone and sand exploded upward. Superman retaliated with a right hook, sending Hercules hurtling into a mountainside. The demigod laughed as he stood, brushing rubble from his shoulders. "Good," Hercules grinned. "Let's see what you've really got." Superman answered with his heat vision, a twin beam of solar fury that scorched the air. Hercules raised his club, spinning it with godlike precision, deflecting the blast and charging through. They met midair, fists clashing like colliding stars. The sound alone shattered glass across Aegean villages. Their battle spilled into the skies, then to the sea. Superman froze the ocean with his breath. Hercules shattered the glacier with a single stomp. They clashed in underwater trenches, their struggle disturbing ancient sea serpents that fled in terror. Superman flew them skyward, past the clouds, higher and higher, until they breached the stratosphere. But Hercules wasn't bound by mortal limits. He caught Superman mid-flight and slammed him back to Earth, turning the landscape into molten rock. And yet, Superman rose, his cape torn, armor singed, but resolve unwavering. Still standing, Hercules panted, sweat trailing down his brow. "You've earned my respect, alien, but Olympus does not yield." "I don't want you to yield," Superman answered, fists clenched. "I want you to understand." He charged with the speed of light, tackling Hercules through mountain after mountain. For a moment, the battle seemed to turn. Superman delivered a flurry of strikes, pressure point blows, seismic punches, high-speed tackles that bent time around them. But Hercules had fought chaos itself. He absorbed the punishment, grappled Superman by the throat, and thundered, "You hold back." "I do not." He drove his forehead into Superman's skull, stunning the Kryptonian, then lifted him and hurled him into a volcano. From the molten crater, Superman emerged, bruised, limping, furious. The sun dipped low, casting golden rays across the battlefield. He closed his eyes. Beneath the pain, the Kryptonian core burned hot. "You want me at full power?" he muttered. "Fine." He flew upward, faster than sound, absorbing every ounce of solar radiation he could gather. His body ignited with energy, eyes glowing with cosmic light. When he returned, he struck with the force of a dying star. The punch echoed across the heavens. Hercules flew backward a mile, crashing into the sea. Still, he rose, bloodied, smiling. Finally, the two charged one last time. Fists flew like thunder. Hercules' blows cracked the earth. Superman shattered the air. Every strike became more brutal, more desperate. The sky itself split with lightning. And then, it happened. Superman fainted low, dodged Hercules' strike, and delivered a spinning uppercut laced with solar fire, straight to the demigod's jaw. Hercules staggered. His knees buckled. Superman followed with a double-fisted hammer strike, slamming Hercules into the ground hard enough to carve a canyon. The dust settled. Hercules struggled to rise, then fell to one knee, gasping. He looked up at Superman, eyes no longer defiant but contemplative. "You've bested me," he admitted, "not just with strength, but with will." Superman extended a hand. "It was never about who's stronger. It's about who's fighting for something greater." Hercules took his hand, grinning. "Olympus has chosen wisely. You're no White House, Superman, but maybe you're something more. The gods looked on from Olympus. Zeus, ever proud, nodded slowly. Let the Kryptonian stand. He has earned his place among gods. And the world below continued to spin, guarded by a champion who was neither man nor god, but the bridge between.